Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and yes, I'm wearing the same outfit as I was on Monday's video. Shh, don't tell anyone I film everything on the same day. Not wasting the fact that I put mascara on, honestly. Today, I'm filming a very exciting video. I've been wanting to do one of these for ages, and I have never been organised enough because, of who I am as a person. So, I got organised, and I really want to talk about my new releases that I'm excited for the start of 2022. I know it's a little bit early to be talking about next year already. The end of the year videos are coming with just like a freight train, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to chat about these because some of these I do actually have early review copies of, so I can talk about them a little bit early, and I just wanted to get excited, and maybe if you're making your list for 2022 as well, you would be interested. So I think I've picked between 1 and 5 books for the first 3 months of the year. Yes. And then I've got some mentions for the rest of the year that I might just kind of throw in. I've downloaded the blurbs so we can read them and I can talk about why I'm excited about them. This might be a long one. I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to be. I have a fresh memory card in the camera. Anything could happen. I've mentioned that some of these have or may or in future be sent to me for free. Nobody's paying me to talk about books. All opinions are my own. But also I just wanted to say that pub dates obviously are potentially going to change. We've seen that quite a lot over the last year. Book shortage, paper shortage, all of the above. These are pub dates that are correct as far as I know. If they are wrong, they're wrong. So I'm going to kick it off with January. Editing Judith, could you put in some fun text using your iMovie skills, please? January 4th, The Ivory Key. Let me put up the cover. There are actually 2 covers for this. The tagline is 4 siblings, a country in ruin, one quest to save them all. In this epic YA fantasy debut, magic, a prized resource, is the only thing between peace and war. When magic runs out, 4 estranged royal siblings must find a new source before their country is swallowed by invading forces. The first in an Indian-inspired duology that's perfect for fans of There Will Come a Darkness, The Gilded Wolves, and We Hunt the Flame. What I will say is, I wasn't such a huge fan of We Hunt the Flame. It wasn't my kind of YA. This is a little bit of a punt for me, but I really like the cover. I like the idea. I like the idea of estranged royal siblings. Sounds like it could be interesting. I think that this is going to be a pretty solid read for me. Just my opinion on YA at the moment is it's never really a 5-star. At the moment, I'm perfectly willing to be surprised by things, but I think this is going to be a nice solid 4-star. I'm excited about it. Gilded Wolves, I enjoyed well enough. The puzzles are fairly simple, but I'm interested. I'm interested in this, and I think that the fact that it's a duology has me hopeful because even if I'm not like, oh, this was amazing, it'll only be 1 more book and I'll have a finished story. You know, that's the kind of thing. That wasn't really starting with a bang, but oh well. Also on January 4th, clearly a big release day, is Echoes and Empires by Morgan Rhodes, who has written the Falling Kingdom series, which I don't think I've read, but this cover looks like something I'm going to enjoy. A snarky 17-year-old must team up with an enigmatic criminal to cure herself of dangerous forbidden magic in the first book of a new fantasy duology from Morgan Rhodes. I like forbidden magic, that's a good thing for me. This cover is beautiful, that's a good thing for me. What's the tagline on this? Forbidden magic, dark secrets, tangled adventure, I think. It's very blurry on my phone, but it looks like it's going to be enjoyable, something that I will like. I'm here for it. Snarky 17-year-old, I love a bit of snark. The snark in Scholomance, it hits me right here, so I'm excited to see if this lives up to that snark. A lot of the stuff that comes up on like upcoming release lists, which is where I get most of this information, is YA, because clearly the teenagers are uploading the stuff to the websites fastest. And this one, I really don't like the cover. This is The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder, and it is the thing of all of the YA covers at the moment seem to look like this. I'm not saying the art is bad at all. I think the art is lovely, but they do all kind of start to blur together. And I wasn't going to look at this at all. And then it said it was Sleeping Beauty meets Indiana Jones in this thrilling fairy tale retelling for fans of Sorcery and Thrones and The Cruel Prince. Now, The Cruel Prince, I don't really care about it. It's fine. So sorry, not my thing. But I did really like Sorcery of Thorns. I thought it was a good fun time. And this is Sapphic. And let me read you the quite long blurb, okay? Fee is a bookish treasure hunter with a knack for ruins and riddles who definitely doesn't believe in true love. Shane is a tough-as-dirt girl warrior from the north who likes cracking skulls, pretty girls, and doing things her own way. Briar Rose is a prince under a sleeping curse who's been waiting 100 years for the kiss that will wake him. Cursed princes are nothing but ancient history to Fee until she pricks her finger on a bone spindle while exploring the long-lost ruin. Now she's stuck with the spirit of Briar Rose until she and Shane can break the century-old curse on his kingdom. Dark magic, witch hunters, and bad exes all stand in the way. Not to mention a mysterious witch who might wind up stealing Shane's heart, along with whatever else she's after. But nothing scares Fee more than the possibility of falling in love with Briar Rose. Set in a lush world inspired by beloved fairy tales, The Bone Spindle is a fast-paced young adult fantasy full of adventure, romance, found family, and snark. Yet more snark. I'm here for it. Basically, I believe that this is sapphic and I'm excited for it. And the Indiana Jones aspect of it really made me laugh. I can't work out what time period it's meant to be in. I think it's probably going to be some good trash fun, and that is out on January the 11th. January 18th, Edgewood by Kristen, can never say her last name, the author of The Last Samsara. Now, if you have a memory of this series, you'll know I loved book 1, book 2 was bad, and book 3 was also bad. And I unhauled book 2 and 3, but I kept book 1 because they were kind of distinct novels. So I know that Kristen Cicciarelli can write well, and this cover looked beautiful. And I'm going to read you the blurb. No matter how far she runs, the forest of Edgewood always comes for Emmeline Lark. The scent of damp earth curls into her nose when she sings, and moss creeps across the stage. It's as if the woods of her childhood, shrouded in folklore and tall tales, are trying to reclaim her, but Emmeline has no patience for silly superstitions. When she learns her grandfather disappeared from his nursing home, leaving only a milky orb in his wake, the stories Emmeline has always scoffed at suddenly seem less foolish. After searching for him almost everywhere, Emmeline finally succumbs to the call of Edgewood, entering the forest she has spent years trying to escape. Emmeline finds herself in the court of the fabled Wood King himself. She makes her deal, her voice for her grandfather's freedom. Little does she know she stumbled into the middle of a curse much bigger than herself, one that threatens the existence of a life she has worked so hard to forget. With the help of a handsome and brooding tithe collector, a surly blacksmith, and a lost childhood friend, Emmeline sets out to not only save her grandfather's life, but to right past wrongs and in the process discover her true voice. Again, not I think this is going to be 5 stars, but just like, that sounds like fun. Going into the forest, adventures, I love foresty stuff, like something, the ocean and the forest are like deep within me. There's something in my bones that just loves both of those things, and I don't know, I think it could be good, and I know that Kristen Cicciarelli can write things that I like. So, we're trying it. We're seeing. We're living our best lives. Last of my January books, 18th of January. This is a novella. This is called Servant Maid. This is by Kate Elliott. There are a few Kate Elliott things featuring on this list. It's exciting. So, they choose their laws to secure their power. Felion is a lamplighter able to provide illumination through magic. A group of rebel monarchists free her from indentured servitude and take her on a journey to rescue trapped compatriots from an underground complex of mines. Along the way, they get caught up in a conspiracy to kill the latest royal child and wipe out the monarchist movement for good. But Felion has more than just her lamplighting skills up her sleeve. This sounds great, and it's blurred by S.A. Chakraborty, and it's got a dragon on the front. I'm so excited. This sounds like it's going to be fantastic. Lamplighting, conspiracies, rebel monarchists, yes. Thank you. Give it to me right now. Okay, February. February is my birthday month, if you were wondering. I'm very excited for it. February 1st is In the Serpent's Wake by Rachel Hartman. This is the sequel to Tess of the Road, or maybe a companion to. I'm not 100% sure. Let's read the blurb and find out, and then we will talk about why I love that series. Mind of the world, open your eyes. At the bottom of the world lies a serpent, the last of its kind. Finding the serpent will change lives. Tess is a girl on a mission to save a friend. Spira is a dragon seeking a new identity. Marga is a woman staking her claim on a man's world. Giacomo is a priest searching for his soul. There are those who would give their lives to keep it hidden, and those who would destroy it. But the only people who will truly find the serpent are those who have awakened to the world around them, with eyes open to the wondrous, the terrible, and the just. Now, I want to start by saying I dislike this cover a lot. I think that this cover is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. Tess of the Road. This cover is not. But I love this world. I love Serafino and Shadowscale are some of my favourite dragon books. Tess of the Road, I've actually only read once. I need to do a reread of it. And now I have the perfect excuse because I can read this and then I can read the next book. And I'm just very excited. I love the way that this world tackles ideas of gender, sexuality. I love the way that the dragons work in this world. I just think that Rachel Hartman can write really well, and she writes dragons that I very much enjoy, and I'm excited for another book in this world, even though the cover has me bummed out because it's not as pretty as the other ones. But, you know, what can we do? I've written Beb the First, but I mean Feb the First. Fire Becomes Her by Rosie Thor. Now, I thought I had a Rosie Thor book on my Kindle, but I apparently do not. I really thought I'd purchased it at one point, but it would seem I haven't. This is a lavish fantasy novel with a jazz-age spark. A politically savvy teen must weigh her desire to climb the social ladder against her heart in a world where magic buys votes. Flare is power. With only a drop of flare, one can light the night sky with fireworks or burn a building to the ground, and 17-year-old Ingrid Ellis wants her fair share. Ingrid doesn't have a family fortune, monetary or magical, but at least she has a plan. Rise to the top on the arm of Lyndon Holt, heir to a hefty political legacy, and the largest fortune of flare in all of Candace? Unsure. Her only obstacle is Lyndon's father, who refuses to acknowledge her. So when Senator Holt announces his run for president, Ingrid uses the situation to her advantage. She strikes a deal to spy on the senator's opposition in exchange for his approval and the status she so desperately craves. But the longer Ingrid wears two masks, the more she questions where her true allegiances lie. Will she stand with the Holts, or will she forge her own path? This is on my list because I am really interested in any fiction, any fantasy fiction that really deals with elections. I think it's a really interesting dynamic. So often we're dealing with monarchy. I think that anything that brings in elections is really interesting. State of Sorrow is another one that I think ticks that box for me. I don't know, I'm interested by it. I think that this idea of flare as like a kind of powerful thing could be interesting. I'm excited. This I have maybe requested on NetGalley, I can't remember. This is coming out on February 13th. This is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Now, I've read a Rebecca Ross book before. I think it's The Queen in Hiding? I can't remember, but this is Rebecca Ross's first adult fantasy. Enchantments run deep on the magical Isle of Cadence. Gossip is carried by the wind, plaid shawls can be as strong as armour, and the smallest cut of a knife can instill fathomless fear. The capricious spirits that live there find mirth in the lives of the humans who call the land home, but that mischief turns to malevolence as girls begin to go missing. Adara, heiress of the East, knows the spirits' only answer to a bard's music, enticing them to return the missing girls, but there's only one bard capable of drawing the spirits forth by song, her childhood enemy Jack Tamerlane. He hasn't stepped foot on Cadence in 10 long years, content to study music at the mainland university, but as Jack and Adara reluctantly work together, it becomes apparent the trouble with the spirits is far more sinister than first thought, and an older, darker secret lurks beneath the surface, threatening to undo them all. I think this sounds interesting because I really like fantasy books that feature music, and I think that a bard as a character is going to be cool, and studying music could be really interesting. I think it'll be good, and I always find it very interesting to see authors how they move from YA to adult, or even the other way, or across age groups and genres. I think it can be really interesting, and it can actually make things that really work, because often YA authors are doing stuff that adult fantasy authors aren't, or vice versa. I think it could be cool. We've got 2 more for February. This I actually do have a review copy for. This is one of the ones that I definitely have, and I'm excited to read it. This is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. This is out on February 22nd from Axio. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea is an enthralling feminist retelling of the classic Korean folktale, The Tale of Shim Chong, perfect for fans of Winter Song, Uprooted, and Miyazaki's Spirited Away. I am a fan of Uprooted and Spirited Away, so I'm excited. Deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland for generations. Floods sweep away entire villages, while bloody wars are waged over the few remaining resources. Her people believe the sea god, once their protector, now curses them with death and despair. In an attempt to appease him, each year a beautiful maiden is thrown into the sea to serve as the sea god's bride, in the hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen and end the suffering. Many believe that Sim Chong, the most beautiful girl in the village, and the beloved of Mina's older brother Jun, may be the legendary true bride, but on the night Chong is to be sacrificed, Jun follows Chong out to the sea, even knowing that to interfere is a death sentence. To save her brother, Mina throws herself into the water in Chong's stead. Swept away to the spirit realm, a magical city of lesser gods and mythical beasts, Mina seeks out the sea god, only to find him caught in an enchanted sleep. With the help of Shin, a mysterious young man with no soul, as well as a motley crew of demons, gods and spirits, Mina sets out to wake the sea god and bring an end to the killer storms once and for all. But she doesn't have much time. A human cannot live long in the lands of the spirits, and there are those who would do anything to keep the sea god from waking. Oh, sounds exciting. I'm very, very hyped for this. I think the Spirited Away vibes is going to be great. I think that the sisterhood aspect's really interesting, that she saves her brother's beloved. I'm interested to see how that dynamic plays out. I want to read this, and I'm having to wait because I have other things I need to read beforehand, but it does sound pretty darn good. And last for February, this is out on the 22nd also, and this is a bit of a punt. Like, I found 4 books I wanted, and I was like, okay, what's a 5th that I'm interested? And this is Extasia by Claire Legrand. So Claire Legrand wrote the Furyborn series, which I read the first one and I thought it was pretty good, but it was right around the time where I was super, even more than I am now, burned out on YA. And I think that I wasn't keen to finish the series, but this sounded kind of spooky and kind of interesting. So, from New York Times bestselling author Claire Legrand comes a new bone-chilling YA horror novel about a girl who joins a coven to root out a vicious evil that's stalking her village, perfect for fans of The Handmaid's Tale and The Grace Year, both of which I did enjoy. Her name is unimportant. All you must know is that today she will become one of the 4 saints of Haven. The elders will mark her and place the red hood on her head. With her sisters, she will stand against the evil power that lives beneath the Black Mountain, an evil which has already killed 9 of her village's men. She will tell no one of the white-eyed beasts that follow her, or the faceless grey women tall as houses, or the girls she saw kissing in the elm grove. Today she will be a saint of Haven. She will rid her family of her mother's shame at last and save her people from destruction. She's not afraid. are you? Oh, and Sawkill Girls. I read Sawkill Girls. Yes. I think this is going to be interesting. YA horror is something that I've started to dip my toe in. I think very specifically YA fantasy horror as opposed to kind of like YA slasher horror. But I recently read House of Hollow and I enjoyed that. So I think YA horror may be something that I quite like. And I think this looks very cool, witchy and good. And February... we're still in the depths of winter, really. I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about March. March feels like a very long way away at this point, but let's talk about some books that are coming out then. I have 1,000 Steps into Night by Tracy Chi. This is a Japanese-inspired fantasy brimming with demons, romance, and plans gone awry. When a girl who's never longed for adventure is hit with a curse that begins to transform her into a demon, she embarks on a quest to reverse the curse and return to her normal life, but along the way is forced to confront her true power within. So Tracy Chi also wrote The Reader, which I picked up secondhand somewhere. I can't remember where. I think I bought it online. It was one of those like came up on books you should read, and I really liked The Reader. I did not like the sequel, but this looks really interesting. The cover is fantastic. I'm really into the cover, like that red. Oh, I'm keen. And yeah, I think this sounds like it could be a cool story. I like the idea of slowly turning into a demon. A lot of books where people are slowly turning into things I enjoy. I don't know what that says about me. That is out on the 1st of March. Also on the 1st of March is an audiobook that I'm very excited for. I'm very confused by it, but I'm excited for it. And this is The River of Silver by S.A. Chakraborty. Now, this is purely releasing on audio, I believe, and it is in the world of the David Bad series, which I don't think I have any of them up here. I think they're all on my downstairs bookshelves. But City of Brass, you know the ones. Return to David Bad, the hidden city of Jin in the River of Silver. A prospective new queen joins a court whose lethal history may overwhelm her own political savvy. An imprisoned royal from a fallen dynasty and a woman wrenched from her home cross paths in an enchanted garden. A pair of scouts stumble upon a secret in a cursed winter wood that will turn over their world. Listen to their stories and more in a collection of tales that returns to David Bad and gives voice to new characters and old. From Manaiza's first steps towards rebellion to new adventures being embarked upon after the Empire of Gold ends, The River of Silver is the perfect complement to Chakraborty's incredible trilogy. I'm so excited for this. I believe that some of the stuff in this is stuff that she had put on her website, some of which I have read. But basically, I loved The City of Brass. The whole David Bad trilogy is fantastic, and I especially love it via audiobook. I think it works really, really well. So I'm excited to get to this. I'm slightly hoping it will be on Scribd, but if not, I will pay my valued money in order to read this or listen to it as soon as humanly possible. I think it's going to be very, very cool. I'm very excited. And Amber, if you're watching this, I know you are too. On March 8th, new book from A.M. Macklemore. This is Lake Law. This I have skipped. What was it called? The Mirror Season, because I didn't love the concept of this, but I think this sounds cool. And this is kind of a, if I stumble across it in a bookshop, I'll buy it kind of book, but not necessarily one that I'm going to pre-order. When their older brother and sister move out, Bastien Silvano has one job: protect the secret world they've all shared since they were children. For years, the world under the lake has been not just a landscape of underwater trees, mythical alebrijes, and paint and paper coming to life. It's been a safe space for their neurodivergent brains. But when Law Garcia finds their way in, everything changes. The world under the lake pulls Bastien and Law in without warning and makes Law's own neurodivergence part of its landscape. The once unshakable bond between the Silvano siblings fractures. Their brother thinks Law will be the ruin of their world, while their sister thinks there's more to the lake's magic than any of them know. And the mistakes Bastien will do anything not to repeat, and Law will do anything to hide, find their way above and below the surface. As Bastien tries to hold both of their worlds together, Law must decide how much they'll risk for the magic they're now a part of, and for Bastien. This I'm excited for because I think A.M. Macklemore writes really good magical worlds within the real world. I think that's some very cool stuff. This reminds me a lot of the concept of Wild Beauty, this kind of people getting in between siblings stuff. I think it's going to be cool. I'm excited to read it. I would quite like to do a full A.M. Macklemore, just like reading everything they've written so far. That might be a project for next year. This is out March 8th, so maybe if we planned that for March, that would be fun. Would you be keen to do that? Let me know. 8th of March, A Farwilder Magic, a romantic YA perfect for fans of Erin A. Craig, me, and Margaret Rogerson. Me, about two people who find themselves competing for glory and each other's hearts in a magical fox hunt. Hype. When Margaret Welty spots the legendary Hala, the last living mythical creature, she knows the half-moon hunt will soon follow. Whoever is able to kill the Hala will earn fame and riches and unlock an ancient magical secret. If Margaret wins the hunt, it may finally bring her mother home. While Margaret is the best sharpshooter in town, only teams of two can register, and she needs an alchemist. Weston Winters isn't an alchemist, yet. Fired from every apprenticeship he's landed, his last chance hinges on Master Welty taking him in. But when Wes arrives at Welty Manor, he finds only Margaret and her bloodhound Trouble. Margaret begrudgingly allows him to stay, but on one condition: he must join the hunt with her. Although they make an unlikely team, Wes is in awe of the girl who has endured alone on the outskirts of a town that doesn't want her, in this creaking house of ghosts and sorrow. And even though Wes disrupts every aspect of her life, Margaret is drawn to him. He too knows what it's like to be an outsider. As the hunt looms closer and tensions rise, Margaret and Wes uncover dark magic that could be the key to winning the hunt, if they can survive that long. Oh, an achingly tender love story set against a deadly hunt in an atmospheric, rich fantasy world that will sweep you away. Please sweep me away. I would like to be swept away, please. I really like just a romance of this ilk. Margaret Rogerson's romance is the same. I'm looking forward to it. I think that one's going to be good. I think it was going to be a good sit in the bath and read it all in one go kind of book. That's my feeling. Another, I believe, novella. This is out the 22nd of March. This has come up and served cold, and I am definitely wanting to read this because it says it's for fans of Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries, and I am that person. I've watched that series more times than I care to admit. In the wake of the 1929 stock market crash, Seattle's powerful Commission of Magi is moving against the city's most vulnerable magic users and merchants under the guise of protecting law-abiding citizens. Meanwhile, an unassuming young lady with hidden skills and a nebulous past named Dolly White enters the employ of a head commissioner's family as a lady's companion. Although she has her own agenda to fulfill, it may prove to be the perfect opportunity for one family who's suffered tremendous loss at the hands of the Commission to get their overdue vengeance. I mean, this cover looks so cool. I'm excited for late 1920s, 1930s magic stuff. It just sounds fabulous. I would like a copy, please, Tor. Please send that to me. So those are my picks for the first 3 months of the year, and I thought it would be fun to kind of come back and do kind of quarterly videos like this, maybe. If this is something you enjoy, I appreciate this has been a lot of me reading blurbs, but I find it so much easier to really take in the information and get really excited about it if I'm doing it on camera. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I feel like I'm chatting with a friend about it. And then I thought I would just do some kind of honourable mentions, things that are coming up for the rest of 2022 that I will probably talk about in a lot of detail later. Basically just creating a lot of work for me, my editor. The Blood Trials, Dreams Bigger Than Heartbreak, In a Garden Burning Gold, Saint Death's Daughter, Sophie and the Bone Song, Fevered Star, The Discord of Gods, Nettle and Bone, Literati, For the Throne, Empress Crowned in Red, Firian's Fire, The Darkening, Furious Heaven, None of the Ninth, One Dark Window. Those are all the things that I've so far picked out from this list, and there will certainly be more. A lot of stuff. Pub dates haven't been announced for it yet, but I'm hoping we'll hit September of next year. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and let me know what books are you excited for in the early part of next year, or indeed in the later part of next year. What have I missed off this list that I should be talking about? Please tell me. Alternatively, are there any of these that you've already read or that you know there's just something about it that I'm not going to like for some reason? I would like the warning. I'm not promising to read all of these, but I think it'll be interesting to look back on. Oh, I was really excited about that. Why didn't I read it in the end? And that kind of thing. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord. I'll show you pictures of my dog. She's being really cute right now. Just extra adorable. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. Luna, that cannot be comfortable. But okay. Cicciarelli? Cicciarelli? Not sure. Cicciarelli? I can't do it. There's something in my bones that just loves both of those things. There's something in my bones that just loves both of them. There's something in my bones that just loves both. Why can't I say it? I love the way that the dragons work in this world. And last from February, this is a bit of a... Oh, I've got pins and needles in my foot.